Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to be ranking all the 25 Remembrances bosses from Elden Ring. This will probably be a controversial list because there are a few bosses that people love to infinity and I'm not the biggest fan of. So especially if you're like a Mohg fan, you're probably not going to like this video very much. But anyway, this is just my opinion. I fought these bosses a crazy amount of times, most of them, but not the ones from the DLC. Outside of Messmer, Promised Consort Radahn, and Rellana, the other ones I haven't fought them many times, especially Midra. I think is the one I probably fought the least because, I don't know, he was very easy to me. So I know Midra is crazy popular, but I don't have like a final opinion on him. But I'll give you my thoughts on, the times that I fought him and what do I think of him. I also want to apologize before I start because this is not, like a crazy elaborated video with a script, because it would probably take me like 30 hours to make this video. So I decided to be lazy and just do a tier list. It's easier like that for me. But we'll go back to making a proper video in the future. But this one, I'm gonna be lazy, I'm sorry. So let's start this because this is gonna be already a very long video because there's a lot of bosses here to talk about. So our first boss is gonna be Godrick, which is a boss I really like a lot. But for now I might change this. I'm gonna put it in A tier. Now, Godrick has a few things I really like. I think he has some of the best cutscenes in the entire game. The music is extremely good. And the arena, is very good and very bad. It's very good because it looks really cool, but it's also very bad because, there's a lot of things in the middle, in the sides that can get in the way of the fight. And as for the fight itself, there's also a lot of things I love and a lot of things I don't like. I think he has some really cool attacks, especially when he gets the hammer and it just hits the ground like 2 or 3 times. I really like that attack. But he also has a few attacks that are kind of bullshit, the windmill kind of thing that it does. It's almost pretty much unreactable. And also, the when it throws the wind attack, that thing can bounce into the arena and goes, in the opposite direction of where it was supposed to go. So that can be very annoying. I also don't like the fact of second phase, because it starts always with the same attack, with a fire attack, and you can just simply run in his direction and completely ignore the fact, that is doing that attack. I wish that was not a thing because it makes the fight a bit too easy. But again, it's a boss I really enjoyed, but I don't know. For now, it stays on A. It might go to S minus. I don't know. I have to see the rest of the list. So we go from a boss I really like to a boss I am not a big fan at all, which is Astel. So Astel, B or C? For now, I'm gonna put it in C, and then we will see. Now, Astel, there are a lot of things why I'm not the biggest fan of this boss. I guess the first thing I have to talk about is the fact that there are 2 Astels, which I really wish that wasn't a saying. I think he should be at the end of Rani quest, and that's it. And it's also like a very long quest. I know people probably love doing that. I'm not the biggest fan of doing Rani quest, but I don't know. I really didn't like when I found them in the snow in the mountaintop of the giants. That was such a big disappointment. I really think this should be one of those bosses that should only exist one of them, like that's it. And as for the fight itself, I don't know, man. There's a few things I don't like we start like crazy far from him, and I know it's because of the laser attack and shit, but we have to walk like forever just to get to him. And I don't know, it's a boss that you just don't feel good getting close to him. He has a lot of AoE explosions that are just kind of annoying to deal with. And I also don't like the grab attack. I don't know. The problem might be mine. I don't understand how the grab attack works. I don't know if it always comes from the same side or something. But I keep getting lost, and he almost always grabs me. And the damage that it does is absolutely insane. And I don't know, I just think it's just not a very fun boss to fight. I do like his visual. I think he looks absolutely incredible. But I don't know, just the rest is just something. It's just a fight I don't like doing. I don't know, it's not a boss that I'm going to strafe. It's not a boss that I'm going to jump I don't know. It's just boring. I just find it a very boring fight. I know Astel has its fans, but I am not one of them. Now it's time for the Dancing Lion. This is a boss I definitely need to fight him a few more times. For now, it goes on A though. Like, first of all, number one thing I have to mention in this fight is the music. I think the Dancing Lion has the best soundtrack in all of Elden Ring. It's absolutely phenomenal. Like, when I heard it the first time, that's it. One time was enough to fall in love with the song. It's just absolutely incredible, and I cannot stop listening to it. Like, the DLC came out many months ago, and I still listen to this music pretty much almost every day. It's that good. As for the fight itself, like, the cutscene is very good. The arena looks very cool as well. The boss itself, it's also, a really cool design. But I don't know, like, there's a few things I don't love about this fight, like especially the camera. I had a lot of problems on my first playthrough with the camera. I just kept dying over and over again. Every time I would get close to the some wall or some corner, the camera just flips like crazy, and I had no idea what was happening on the screen, and I just kept dying over and over again like that, and it just wasn't fun. Also, when it does the lightning phase, it's kind of tricky to hit him when it does that, because there's always lightnings in the arena exploding everywhere. So I don't know, like, but I think that pretty much it. Those are my two problems. The rest I really love. Like I said, incredible soundtrack, incredible cutscene, nice arena, and it's an absolutely audiovisual experience that is just phenomenal. Like, the fight itself, like, the boss has 4 phases. It's kind of crazy, and it's just really, really cool to see everything what is going on. But I think it's a boss I still need to learn a little bit more so that I can appreciate it more. So for now, it stays on A. Is it better than Godrick? I do not know. It's almost like a tie, so I don't know. I think I'm gonna leave it like this for now. In the future, I think Dancing Lion is gonna beat Godrick, but for now it stays like that. So next we have Rennala, right? Rennala. And yeah, it's a very easy B for Rennala. Rennala probably has the most beautiful arena in the entire game, if not, I don't know, probably not all of Souls, but it's definitely up there, like top 5 maybe most beautiful arenas in any Souls game. As for the fight itself, like, first phase is just a gimmick fight. I actually took me some time to understand what the hell I needed to do, but it's a very easy fight. It's an incredibly easy fight. It's probably the easiest fight in all of these 25 Remembrances. I don't know. I'm just looking. Yeah, probably the easiest by far, or maybe not. Maybe Regal Ancestor Spirit is one of both. But yeah, first phase, I mean, I love the arena, and the concept it's also alright, but it's nothing that you're gonna, remember forever or anything. And then the second phase happens, like, very cool cutscene, and you see the arena, and it blows your mind. But the fight itself, it's also nothing special. I don't know. I do like the fact that she summons enemies and stuff like that. There's a lot of variety in the fight, and I do love how she starts the fight with a Kamehameha attack. I don't know, I like to call it that. So it's a visual masterpiece, but as a fight itself, it's just okay. It's not something it's a boss I normally don't even fight. You have to kill 2 Remembrances to progress into the game, to go in, to the, I'm forgetting the name, the castle, not the castle. You know what I mean, when you fight Morgott and stuff like that. But I never choose, I normally don't choose her much as my 2 bosses that I normally fight. It's normally Godrick and Rykard. So yeah, she's alright. Not bad, not good. She's alright. And next, oh boy, Elden Beast. This is a tough one. I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Elden Beast, but I still think I'm gonna put it at B. I don't know, like, I think this is a very, very hard boss to rank, because this is a boss that has an incredible responsibility because it's the final boss of this game. And like the last 3 games that From Software have done had incredible final bosses. You know, Gurman was insanely good. Soul of Cinder is very, very good. Even though I know some people don't like him, but I do like him a lot. And Ishin the Sword Saint was just perfection. So, you know, after those 3 incredible bosses, we get Elden Beast. It's there's no other way to say it. It's incredibly disappointing. I don't like how he looks. He looks like a big worm. You know, I couldn't say another word, but I'm gonna say he looks like a big worm. And I don't know. He just swims around everywhere. They gave us the horse now, so the fight is a little bit better, but honestly it's a fight I never care much, so it's not like I'm gonna start fighting him just because we can use the horse. I don't know, but it's a boss that has a lot of good things as well. The arena is, it's pretty. I don't think it's nothing phenomenal because everywhere I look it looks the same, but it's pretty, and the soundtrack is good. I really like the soundtrack. But again, man, like for a final boss, it's so disappointing. I really wish Radahn was the final boss because he looks awesome and the music is epic, and that's, the type of things I like. This is kind of a boring boss. You're just running around him all the time, and he also has some very annoying attacks. Elden Stars is one of the most ridiculous attacks they ever came up with. I mean, it is possible to dodge it. It's not like dodge it, it's possible to run away from it, but sometimes when you're running away from it, he will start spamming other attacks at the same time, and it's just too much. Like I don't like when a boss can do like 2 or 3 attacks at the same time, and sometimes makes it impossible to deal with everything at the same time. So yeah, Elden Beast has its moments, but for a final boss, it's a gigantic disappointment. So now we have Fire Giant, and Fire Giant is a boss that I used to hate, but the more I fought him, the more I started liking him. I think he gets way too much hate. He's really not that bad. Does he has a few bad things? Definitely. To start the arena, the arena is a big problem in this fight. He starts, the boss starts rolling around the arena, and he just crashes. Sometimes it's funny to watch, but it's it's, at the same time it gets in the way of the fight, and it becomes very silly to see. And he also has this one attack on second phase where he opens his mouth and just throws fire at you for a very long time. I have no idea how you deal with that. Maybe with a horse, but on foot that seems almost impossible to deal. I try to run in every direction and I almost get hit every single time. I don't know. Maybe with a horse, but on foot it seems a bit impossible to deal with. But yeah, it's again, if you know what you have to do with this boss, which is to hit the left foot on first phase and then attack the hands on second, this is pretty alright. Like the soundtrack is nice, the cutscene is also kind of memorable, with the eye opening and him ripping off his leg and stuff like that. And yeah, some really cool attacks. Visually, it's a very cool fight. But yeah, I understand why some people might not like him. But I did start to enjoy this fight a lot more. I know exactly what I need to do in both phases, so he's alright. He's not much of a big problem as he used to be in the past. Now, we have what I believe is Fortissax. I think it looks like him. And this is a tough one. I am not a big fan of Fortissax at all. He's definitely going to be a B. I just don't know where to place him here. Probably better than... yeah, probably here. Probably a little bit better than Elden Beast, but a little bit less than Fire Giant, I guess. I don't know. This is a boss that... I don't know. I guess it depends on when do you find him. If you find him too late in the game, the guy's gonna be a cakewalk. He doesn't have a lot of health, so you're gonna kill him very fast. And I don't know. There's a few things that in this boss that kind of annoy me. Like, I do not like the fact that, every time you go under him, there's this lightning that is on top of you that is gonna explode at every single, at any moment. That I think it gets away from the fight. Instead of you attacking, you're always just running away until that shit disappears. I really am not a big fan of that. I also think everything is just too dark in this fight. The arena, the way the boss looks, everything is just dark as hell. I don't know. Like, he has this super incredibly beautiful attack where he goes in the air and then he, turns, I don't know what's the English word, but he goes like in a circle. But that attack is so unbelievably easy to completely ignore. You just run to the front and he goes over your head. I don't know, man. Like, it feels like it's a boss that has potential, but it just seems like another dragon, like the ones you meet at Farum Azula and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's a boss that has some good things in it, especially like the soundtrack. The soundtrack is so incredible, but I don't know. It's attached to another quest that I'm not the biggest fan of, and you have to fight, the Fiat Champions bullshit boss before him. So it's a boss that I definitely don't care much about, and I probably will never fight him again in Elden Ring. So I guess that says much about him. And next we have, oh boy, Commander Gaius. Oh god. So I'm not gonna lie, I don't have much experience on Commander Gaius, but from the experience that I have, like, the very first thing as soon as I enter that arena is the charge. I hate the charge. It's one of those attacks that you dodge once in 100 attempts. And I don't know, it just feels like bullshit. I know there's a lot of ways to deal with a charge instead of rolling, but I don't know, it just feels a bit bullshit, that attack. And then there's a lot of things in this boss I don't like, man. Like, I hate the visuals design from this boss. I really do. I mean, did you guys got this armor and then put the armor on yourself? It looks horrible. It's so ridiculous looking, man. It's so bad. And I don't know, like, the arena, it just feels like, just a part of the map. It doesn't feel like it's, like a boss arena or anything. It looks nice, but it just feels like another part of the map. I don't know, it's just, and suddenly this guy on a horse starts coming up. It's not a horse, it's a wild boar or something. And I don't know, it just feels like another, the Tree Sentinel. It just feels like a shittier version of the Tree Sentinel. I don't know. I 100% prefer the Tree Sentinel to this, or especially Draconic, which is a much better boss than this. I don't know. It's just a boss that means nothing to me. He even has like the music from, the main game. He doesn't even has his own song. There's nothing in this boss that I care about. Nothing really. I saw some fights against him from, really good players, and, it made me think that, if I would have learned this boss properly, maybe I would get some fun from it. But from my experience, from the times I fought him, I had no fun at all, really. This is just not a boss I like at all. So now it's time for Rykard. Rykard is probably my favorite gimmick fight in all of Souls. Maybe here. Yeah, probably here. Rykard is a boss that has an incredibly memorable cutscene. Is one of the most insanely visual looking bosses that I've ever seen. Like, the imagination on From Software is absolutely insane. It looks so incredibly cool. He has two phases very distinct from one another. And I mean, I love the fact that we're fighting a giant snake on first phase, even though he has that earthquake attack that is a bit. I mean, you can dodge it if you run really fast to the side and jump. It is possible, but you cannot roll through it, which is kind of. But it's alright. It gets a little bit of a pass from me. On second phase, he gets the weapon from his mouth. And he has some really crazy powerful attacks, especially the one where he summons all the skulls and then he puts the weapon in the air and it, I don't know, it's almost like the Ludwig attack in a way, but in a dark version of it or something like that. And I don't know, it's a very incredible audiovisual experience that I really like. The arena is also crazy looking. Even though I do not like the skulls on the floor, it can get in the way of the fight, but like it's an incredible audiovisual experience, this fight. And the weapon that you get is one of my favorites in the game. I play with the Serpent Hunter like crazy. I love that weapon. So yeah, Rykard has a lot of good things going for him. Very, very nice boss. Next we have Romina, which is a boss I know a lot of people love. Sadly, I am not one of them. I don't know. Romina has a few good things. Soundtrack is good. Definitely. Soundtrack is good. Wait, does it get a B? I don't know. I don't know if I should put her in B or A. I don't know. I think maybe B. I don't know. Like I said, soundtrack is good. Arena, it's nice. It's nothing special, but it's nice. And the visual design is absolutely incredible. She looks phenomenal. But the fight itself, I can't say I'm the biggest fan. First of all, I was incredibly disappointed with the difficulty from this boss, which is close to 0. It's easily one of the easiest bosses in the DLC, if not the easiest one. And the fact, that she's basically the one defending, the run to the final boss, before you enter the final area, it's a bit disappointing that. Then one of the things I like the least about this fight is how much she just flies away from you. Like every time, especially in the second phase, she does the transition, which is something I don't like as well. The rot butterflies and shit. And then second phase, she just starts going to the air and spin and goes 10 kilometers away from you, and you go running in this direction, but she leaves butterflies that are going to explode, so you have to wait. I don't know, it just feels that, there's a little bit too much of waiting in this fight. And I don't know, I know some people love her to infinity. Again, it might just be a case of me not having enough experience on her because, like I said, I find her incredibly easy. So I normally take 1-2 tries to take care of her and move on. So again, like I said at the beginning of the video, I don't have that much experience on DLC bosses. So yeah, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but so far that's what I think of Romina. Next we have Regal Ancestor Spirit, which probably is my least favorite fight. I think this is the worst remembrance of the entire. In fact, I think I'm gonna put this one here so that it really gets rock bottom. The Regal Ancestor Spirit. Like, there's one thing, no, maybe two things I like about this fight. I do like the music. This is really, really nice. And I like the design of the boss. He looks cool. Outside of that, this is an incredible, disappointing boss fight because when I saw the trailer for Elden Ring, the first time, this was the boss I wanted to fight the most. And the fact that this boss, has like 5 or 6 attacks, the fact that this boss is incredibly easy, the fact that this boss heals and makes the fight boring as hell, and the arena sucks to oblivion. Like, I don't know, man. I guess the fight is not crazy bad or anything, but I was hoping for so much from this boss, and it gave me so little. It's a really, really disappointing boss. I think it's the best way to describe it. It's just crazy disappointing. It's not crazy bad. It probably doesn't even deserve a D, but I really wanted this boss to be absolutely incredibly good, and it's completely the opposite. It is. He has like this attack where he just flies in the air and just throw this blue thing, and I'm like looking at the sky and I'm like, what is he doing? Who is he trying to hit? Like, who the hell gets hit by this shit? Like, I don't know, man. This boss doesn't work at all. It sadly does not work at all. And now it's time for a very easy placement. Maliketh, 100% S rank, one of the best bosses in Elden Ring. This is a boss that just keeps growing on me. Seriously, the more I fight Maliketh, the more I love him. Like, seriously, this guy is just going up and up in my ranking. I would probably rank him, I don't know. When I finish the game, I would probably rank him, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 favorite boss. And now, I don't know, it's probably in the top 3, man. Like, I don't know, I'm really, really falling in love with Maliketh. Because, you know, one thing is, there's like 3 type of fights for someone like me. There's the first playthrough where you get an impression from a boss. There's the no-hit fights, which I like to do a lot. And this is a really cool boss to no-hit. And then there's the no-hit with spectacle, which is, you know, when you do a no-hit fight, but you can add, like, you know, fighting with 3 weapons, or, you know, doing really cool things like strafing and jumping and parrying. And I think this boss has it all, man. Like, it's one of the, I don't know if rare, but I'm gonna use the word, it's one of those rare bosses where you can do almost anything you want, because it gives you the possibility to use every tool in the game pretty much. And I just love Maliketh. I think the arena is one of the best. The soundtrack is so underrated. Like, seriously, the first phase and second phase, the songs are so good. I think visually he's probably the coolest looking. It's either him or Radahn. Visually, like, when it comes to style, I think it's either him or Radahn, the coolest looking bosses in Elden Ring. And I love his lines on the cutscene. It's just phenomenal. Maliketh, 100% S tier. And we go from Maliketh to Metyr. That's I almost didn't remember his name. Metyr. Hard to rank. Very hard to rank. Damn it, I really, this is a very hard boss to rank. I know a lot of people hate this boss. A lot of people think it's the worst boss in Elden Ring. But I think probably most people that think that are people that, you know, do no-hit fights. I'm one of them, so I know that this boss is complete garbage for doing no-hit fights. But this boss has a lot of things that I really like. I think he has one of the best arenas in the entire game. I think the soundtrack is so damn good. Like, basically, like, the appearance of this boss, the arena, and the music, it just creates this incredible alien atmosphere that I absolutely love. Is the fight itself that good? No, it's not. It's definitely not. It's not a lot of fun. There are a few bullshit attacks, but again, like, the atmosphere, the music, the alien appearance of the creature, everything is just so cool that I can't hate this fight. I really can't. Like I said, there are a few bullshit in the fight that stop her from being higher on this list, but yeah, I there's a few things I also like. So Metyr, for me, it's not the worst boss in Elden Ring. So now it's time for Midra, and like this boss is crazy hard for me to rank. Like I said, I only fought this guy like 20 times maybe, and even to getting a no-hit was incredibly easy, because this boss is a scripted fight. And I don't know, I'm gonna believe in all of the people that praise this boss to infinity, and I'm gonna leave him here at A tier. But already out of the blue, even with not a lot of experience on Midra, there's a few things I already don't like. It doesn't matter what people say or whatever. From my opinion, like, I don't like the fact that you have to fight his first version every time, when he's like this old man before transforming. That's a thing I really don't like. The arena sucks to oblivion. Like, it's such a shame, the arena, like, because you're in this haunted mansion that looks very cool, and then you enter his arena and it's just four black walls. There's nothing. There's almost no decoration, nothing. I do like the fact that everything goes on fire around us and in second phase, but the reality is that the arena is completely ugly. It's boring as hell. But again, I do enjoy the fight a lot. I like his appearance. I like the cutscene. The music is one of the best in the DLC, and he has so many cool attacks. And even though I don't have a lot of experience, I saw some people fighting him, and it's a boss where you can jump, you can even duck, so it seems like a boss that I'm gonna enjoy a lot in the future with more experience. But for now, with the experience I have, I really cannot rank this boss higher than A. So now it's time for Promise Consort Radahn, and as you can see here, I have an S- tier list. It's an extra that I add before starting the video, because there are a few bosses that are like crazy close from being S tier, but they just don't quite make it, and that's Promise Consort Radahn for me, one of them. This is a boss that on my first playthrough I liked, and I thought I was gonna like him more on second playthrough, but that was not the case, because on second playthrough I went for no-hit fights, and it was absolute torture to do this guy no-hit, and all I could see was flaws everywhere. And then it happened, like they nerfed the boss, they changed a lot of things about him. Now you can hit him a lot more times than before. They fixed the triple slash combo bullshit, and they changed another things on the fight that made the fight, to me, a lot better. Is it as hard as before? Hell no. The difficulty went down like crazy. It is a much easier boss now, at least I think it is. Like, seriously, I can beat Promise Consort Radahn with my eyes closed almost. But I think it's a very cool fight now. Like, the soundtrack is one of the best. Visually, I don't know, it's super cool, but also kind of annoying at the same time because of, Miquella's hair and all the laser shit. And the arena is also a bit of a problem. Like, these things I'm talking about, it's why this boss, it's not up there. It's not S rank. The arena kind of sucks. It gets away in the fight. The lasers can also be a bit annoying, and Miquella's hair definitely. But everything else in this fight, I think it's really, really good. It's a very tough fight. Very cool moveset. Second phase, it's so good. When you learn it, really, this fight, when you learn it, and to me, he has one of the best attacks in the entire game. Like, the one where he slams his swords in the ground and then goes into the air and then throws the meteors, and then he sends like 4 copies of himself, and then he just does this massive AoE. That is one of the coolest attacks to dodge in the entire series, not just Elden Ring, in the entire series. One of my favorite attacks to deal with. And yeah, I mean, it's Radahn, man. Like, very, very cool boss. I really enjoyed. I know a lot of people got angry with the nerf. I was very happy. And talking about Radahn, we have Radahn again here. And Radahn, it's another boss that, I don't know, it's very hard to decide between S- and S. God damn it. Like, these two for me are almost the same. I'm putting this one here, but to me they're like a tie. This is a boss that when I finished the game, it was my favorite. Easily, Radahn was my favorite boss when I finished Elden Ring on my first playthrough. But the more I start fighting him, the more I don't know, it's just not exactly a crazy fun fight. I think it's more of an experience. than, you know, an actual super fun fight where you're strafing or parrying or jumping. There's not much of that, if anything at all, to be honest, in this fight. It's really more of a visual event. And, you know, I'm not much of a lore person, but I do like its story a lot. It looks amazing. I love the cutscene. I love the Radahn festival. Even though I don't use it, I really think it's a very cool thing. The fact that you can just summon tons of people and just go fight them, all of you together against him. And I don't know, man. It's a special thing. This guy, and you know, the Metyr and everything. The Metyr, man. You know what? I can't do it, man. Radahn has to be an S. He has to be an S. This guy. I think this guy is the most important character in all of Elden Ring. He has to be yes. I'm sorry. Promise Consort Radahn has a few things that bother me, but you know, normal Radahn, it's almost flawless. It's just that the fight is not like crazy cool to do, but everything else is just so good in this fight. So good. And now it's time for Mohg, which is many people's favorite boss, and no. Absolutely not for me. Mohg still gets an A. It's still a good boss. Like, there's a lot of good things in it. The music for first phase is easily one of the best in Elden Ring. The arena is up there with one of the best From Software has ever created. Visually, to fight, it's not very good, though. It has, you know, the set of stairs, and there's a lot of stuff in the sides, which I hate. I absolutely hate arenas with stuff on the floor that gets in the way of the fight, so that's an annoying thing. But the one, I don't know, like, there's so many things I don't like about this fight, and I don't know, I don't understand why not more people think that as well, man. I don't know why Mohg is so crazy love. Like, to start, there's so many delayed attacks in first phase. I absolutely hate delayed attacks. Then he has this countdown that he does. Like, it's very cool to watch him say uno, due, tre, or whatever. But I mean, the guy's just there standing, doing nothing, and just counting to 1 to 3, and you're just, you know, just hitting him like crazy, and he's just counting numbers. Like, if you know what you're doing, you can kill him in first phase easily. Like, I don't understand, man. Like I said, it's very cool to see, but it's pointless, and he's just there standing still, getting his ass kicked. And then, you know, there's Nihil, which I absolutely hate as well. It's very cool visually, and him saying the words, blah, 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 very cool, yes, but it's a bullshit attack. It's undodgeable. It's impossible to dodge, and any attack, it's impossible to dodge. I call it bullshit. And, you know, it's an attack that does insane damage, so basically, if you're in first phase and things are going wrong and you only have like one flask, you might as well kill yourself, because he's going to do Nihil and you're not going to survive with one flask. So I don't understand the concept of that. And, you know, people will tell, oh, but there's this item somewhere in the game that if you use, it can protect you. I mean, come on, for fuck's sake. If you need this one item that you have to find in this incredibly long game to do a fight, I'm sorry, I don't think that's good design. And not only that, like, even if you caught the item like 40 hours ago, how the fuck are you gonna remember that? Like, I caught this item 40 hours ago, or 50 or 60. Oh yeah, sure, I remember that item. That's the thing I need to use against this guy, surely. I mean, for fuck's sake, man. And also, even if you use that item, you're gonna get damage. It's not a lot, but you're still gonna get damage. So the only way to beat this boss without taking a single hit is to kill him in first phase. You cannot do a no-hit fight against this against Mohg. It's just impossible unless you kill him in first phase. So yeah, and then second phase happens, and I don't know, like, it's a visual spectacle. Yes, it is. He gets wings and stuff like that, and is flying around the arena. And that's very cool to watch, but I think it's absolute chaos. I don't like that he throws fire everywhere around the arena. You get stun locked to oblivion, and I don't know, man. It's just, Mohg has a lot of good things, like I said. Incredible music, incredible cutscenes, incredible soundtrack, but And he has some very cool attacks. Not gonna deny that, but again, it's a boss that I think it's overrated to oblivion. It's just a boss that is I don't understand. I don't. But yeah, it's okay. Everyone has their opinion. But yeah, let's move on. Now we have Morgott, and it's another very, very, very easy S rank. In fact, is better than Radahn, I think. Morgott is a boss with one flaw, and that flaw is that he has very little health. Because Jesus Christ, I do it on purpose. I like this boss so much that I will grab an underlevel weapon. Is that how you say it? Like instead of using a +10, using like a +5 or something like that. To fight him, because this boss is so freaking good. He has such an incredible moveset, and this boss has so much style, man. I think he's 10 times better than Morgott. Like, I know a lot of people love Morgott to infinity. I can't say I'm the biggest fan of Morgott, but Morgott is just, up there. Really is easily one of the best bosses in Elden Ring. In fact, he might even be better than Maliketh. I don't know. It's again the same way as Radahn is very close from one another. Radahn and Prominent Consort, Maliketh and Morgott. It's very hard to pick. I did a top 10 boss like a few months ago, and I actually put Morgott above Maliketh. But lately I've been fighting Maliketh a lot, and I don't know. Maliketh again just keeps growing on me like crazy. But Morgott, seriously, a masterpiece of a boss. Incredible moveset, incredible soundtrack, one of the best arenas in the game. I don't know, man. Like, it's almost perfection. This boss is so freaking good. So now, let's move on. Let's continue. Sorry for these pauses. I don't know what to say sometimes. And now we have Placidusax, and okay, we're not that close from finishing the list. Okay, Placidusax. This is another boss that is hard to rank. Probably, I don't know, man. Probably here. Again, I'm really believing that Midra is gonna increase on me. That's why I put him here, because I don't know, man. Placidusax has a lot of things going for it. And at the same time, he also has a few that put him back. Like, I've recently fought Placidusax for many hours because I was doing a no-hit spectacle fight, and I had lots of fun, man. I really had lots of fun. Visually, he's one of the coolest bosses in the game. Incredible cutscene as well. Soundtrack, oh my god, soundtrack is so good for this boss. He has some of the coolest attacks in the game. The one where it does the laser on the ground. It's so cool. Like, the fact that the music even stops when it does that. It's such, this cool thing, a cool event. And I love when he goes into the air and just transforms. I mean, it doesn't transform, but you see like this cloud and just moving. Everything is just so cinematic. And then he has like, the laser when he's close, of dying. I don't know, it's just probably one of the, not probably, easily one of the most incredible audiovisual experiences in Elden Ring, easily. But is it the fight like crazy fun to do? No, not really, not so much, no. Again, I found kind of a way of having fun with it, but it required this special weapon to do it. So, I don't know, with normal weapons, this fight can be a bit boring sometimes if he just flies away too much, or if he just keeps throwing fire at you and you have to run away from him. But yeah, with good RNG and with a good choice of weapon, Placidusax can be quite a good boss, and you can have fun with it easily. And actually, funny that these two are next to each other, because that's pretty much what I think of Putrescent Knight as well. It's a boss that with the perfect weapon, it can be a lot of fun. Like, I didn't like Putrescent Knight that much on my first playthrough because I don't know, I just found him really hard to hit many times with the weapon I was using. I just kept missing the hits. I don't know, it's just the way he moves or something. So it was pissing me off like crazy. But when I went for the no-hit fights, I chose a certain weapon and I had so much fun fighting this guy. Like seriously, he's a very cool boss to no-hit if you're using a certain weapon. But I'm not here to talk about no-hit fights. As for the boss, the entrance for the fight is absolutely spectacular. It's not something new, but it's still very cool visually. The arena, it's very pretty. It reminds me of Metyr arena, but like a better, more beautiful version of it. And I don't know, the boss looks a bit goofy, but at the same time he has some really cool attacks. And I wish second phase he had more things, though. He doesn't get that many new attacks for second phase. So, it's between a B and an A, but like I said, I had so much fun while doing the no-hit fight that I think I'm going to leave him there in A. Does it feel a bit unfair to put him above Romina, though? I think it does, man. I don't know if Putrescent Knight is better than Romina. Maybe I'm being a bit unfair with Romina. I don't know. Maybe I should put her here instead. I don't know. I don't think Putrescent is better than her, though. Yeah, I think this looks alright. Yeah, okay. Stays like that. Okay, so time for flower. Sunflower, I think that's how you say it. Oh boy, where do I put this boss? This boss is not that bad, actually. I'm kind of laughing, but this boss is not that bad. It's not very good as well, so maybe, man, I don't know. Maybe here. I don't know, it's kind of a forgettable boss. I know, maybe the fact that we're fighting a flower is kind of messes with my head. And also the fact that she has like 3 phases. I mean, 2 phases to me would be enough. But this boss has some good things on it. Like the arena is pretty cool visually. And I like some of her attacks, especially when she goes into second phase and, she just does the triple charge. That's really cool. That's a really cool attack and very fun to dodge. And I also like in third phase when she does like the explosion, like visually is very cool to see. But I don't know, it just feels like a silly boss visually. I don't know, it's a boss I can't take seriously. But again, it's not a bad boss. I am totally fine if someone put this boss, I don't know, in A tier. But for me, I don't know, again, I can't get past the fact that I'm fighting a flower. I don't know, it just feels like a boss that it's a bit out of place. It doesn't feel like an Elden Ring boss. I don't know. But again, it's not that bad. It's alright, I guess. And now, I don't know, everyone that follows my channel for a long time knows that this is 100% my favorite boss in the game. Hoarah Godfrey to me is by far, I mean, not by far, but it's easily the best boss in Elden Ring. Like, first phase to me is perfection. If it was possible to give an 11 out of 10 to a boss, I would give it to phase 1. I think it's probably the best phase 1 in any boss in Souls history. And second phase is also really good. I think first phase, I don't know, man, like it starts really cool with the axe throwing. I mean, it doesn't always do it, but I mean, if it's the first time you fight him, it doesn't even do that. But every time you enter the arena, mostly he throws the axe, which is very cool visually. And like, this guy has so many cool attacks. When he hits the floor with the axe like 3 times, and then there he pulls the axe in the air, and there's this explosion in the on the ground. when he starts doing the stomps. I think the stomps are the coolest attack in the entire game. I know no one, absolutely no one will agree with me, but I think the stomps are the coolest goddamn attack in the entire game. I love that there is an attack that forces players to either roll or jump. You know, so many attacks you can ignore, but this one, there's nothing you can do. Like it reaches the entire arena. I love it, and it's just so powerful, and the sound is just so cool, man. And then the second phase happens, and it's just also very, very, very fun. It's a hard fight to learn because he has a lot of attacks. I don't think probably a lot of people know how many attacks this guy has in second phase, because it's kind of, if you know what you're doing, you can kill him kind of easily in second phase, because he always starts second phase in a certain way, and then he does this animation when he's very close of dying. So a lot of people probably think second phase from this guy is just grabbing people and throwing them in the air, but no, it's not. Like, this guy has a crazy amount of moves in second phase. I don't even know if I saw all of them at this point. Like, seriously, the guy will... I mean, I'm not going to talk about every attack he has here, but trust me on this. I fought this guy many times, and many times with like +0 weapon, so I have more fun, and the fight lasts longer, and he surprises me so many times in second phase, and I'm like, where the hell this attack came from? It's crazy. He has a crazy moveset, and easily my favorite boss. The soundtrack, so good, so epic. Cutscenes, everything. Godfrey, Horaloo, masterpiece. One of the best bosses From Software has ever created. And now it's time for the final three, and all of these three are absolutely incredible. Messmer is probably my second favorite boss in Elden Ring. I don't know. I find it hard to decide. Because Messmer is like almost perfect in so many ways, but I don't know. At the same time, like, the arena is very bland. Like, everywhere you look, it looks the same. I guess they did it on purpose, so it gives more spectacle to the snakes in the second phase, but I don't know, man. I find the arena crazy bland. And the soundtrack, I mean, I love the soundtrack while fighting him, but to listen the soundtrack on its own, like on YouTube, I don't know, it's the music just, I don't know, it doesn't do much for me. Again, on when you're fighting him, it sounds awesome, but outside of it, just listening it on its own, it's not amazing. I never listen to his song at all. But yeah, it's a crazy good boss. Unbelievably good cutscenes. The fight is just so much fun, man. It's so much fun. It looks incredible. Yes, so many different attacks, and again, it's one of those bosses where you can do everything: strafe, parry, jump. You can do anything with this boss, and above everything, it's a crazy fun fight, man. It's just so freaking fun to fight this dude, and I think he has also one of the best attacks ever in any Souls games. The one where he goes into the air with fire, and then he does that really fast thing with his weapon, and then he goes in the air, hits the floor, and then those spears go into the air. I don't know what's the name of the attack, but it's easily one of my favorite attacks in all of Souls. And the fact that we get his weapon and we can actually do that attack on our own, it's also absolutely incredible. Like, there's not much to say about Messmer. It's one of those bosses it's hard not to love it. It's so freaking good. And next we have Rellana and Rellana. Rellana, man, this is a very, very, very hard one. I think I'm gonna put Rellana here. I'm pretty sure this is gonna piss some people off. I know Rellana is loved to infinity by almost everyone, but to me, Rellana as some things that I am really not a fan of, and I'm gonna mention them now before I talk about the good things, because Rellana, first of all, she does not have a cutscene. I think that's criminal. Such a good boss should 100% have a cutscene. She just feels like a boss that nobody cares. The fact that she doesn't have a cutscene, I don't know, it makes her feel like if it's just like a mini boss or something like that. I don't know. She really, really should have a cutscene. Another thing I'm not the biggest fan is the arena. It's just basically 4 walls. There's nothing to look at in the arena. It's boring as hell. And third, I mean, her visual design, man, I don't like it. I really don't like the way she looks. She just looks like a normal knight, and I even like the knight. She doesn't look good. I don't know. She doesn't look stylish. I don't think she does. I don't know. Some people surely like her. I don't like the way she looks. But the fight itself, crazy good. Absolutely crazy good. She has an incredible amount of different moves. Beautiful moveset. Magic added as well to the fight. Some very awesome, visual moments with especially when she transforms in like two balls. She does like 2 balls of explosion and then she dives. That is a very cool visual attack. She also transforms like the weapon in this big blue sword, and then she turns around. I don't know, it's hard to describe in English. I'm sorry, I'm not English, so sometimes words miss. But yeah, it's a very, very, very good fight. But I think those 3 things that I mentioned, to me, they make her not go all the way up to S. I don't know. She's very close, but she's not there. And our final boss is Malenia. And yeah, Malenia is definitely S- for me. Everyone that saw my top 10 boss ranking from Elden Ring knows I'm not super crazy on Malenia. And I don't know. I don't know where to put her here. Yeah, she's better than Rellana. I don't know if she's better than Promised Consort Radahn. I don't know. Maybe. I think I put her here. I don't know. It's a hard boss to rank. I don't know. Malenia. I mean, it all comes down to first phase. I'm just not a big fan of first phase. She I don't know. She I already said this in a previous video. She reminds me of Orphan of Kos. First phase, she just walks at you very slowly, and the music is very boring. And I don't know. The fact that she does waterfall so many times in first phase, to me is such a shitty decision. I said this in the past, so I'm sorry, but I think waterfall should be only to second phase. I think it kind of ruins first phase. First phase is already kind of boring because she just walks slowly to your direction, and then as soon as she loses like 30% of her health, it triggers right away. Waterfall. So you just spend the rest of first phase just being afraid that she does that one move. I can see how God gamers love her so much because they can dodge waterfall even if she does like really close to them. But I'm not a God gamer. I simply have crazy amount of problems dealing with waterfall, and I don't like the fact that she can just spam it like forever in first phase. Like I had times when she did it like 4 or 5 times just in first phase, and I don't know, man. I don't feel like going close to her. I don't know. It's just not for me, first phase. I'm sorry. To all the Malenia fans, I'm sorry, but first phase is just not for me. Even the soundtrack. I mean, I already mentioned soundtrack is boring as hell. Also the arena. I'm not the biggest fan of the arena. It's pretty average looking, and if you go to the sides, things can get in the way, the roots. Even to Malenia, sometimes she will do like this attack where she goes in the air and then she flies with a sword, and she goes against the roots, and she just stops me there and doesn't perform the attack. And I don't know, I also not a big fan of the fact that you have to parry her 3 times just to get a repost. I mean that's crazy. That's an exaggeration. It just 100% feels too much for me. 2, I can deal with it, but 3 times, come on, that's ridiculous. And second phase though, it's perfection. Like second phase, it's an 11 out of 10. It's one of the best second phases in any Souls boss. Soundtrack is incredible, and she's always chasing you, so it gets crazy hard, and she doesn't do waterfall that often, and she has that attack where she descends in the floor and just turns into a flower or something like that. Is just crazy good. Like Malenia is phenomenal on second phase, but I cannot forget first phase. I'm just not that much of a fan, so she stays with S-. So yeah, this is my ranking of the 25 Remembrances in Elden Ring. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I know I have some opinions that are not very popular, but still it's crazy good that Elden Ring has so many S-rank bosses. This is definitely a game with many good bosses. One of the best. It's either Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3. Sekiro also is very good. I don't know. It's From Software has just been incredible lately. I really cannot wait to play their next game and see what they will bring to us. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video. It was fun to do it, and again, I apologize for not doing something more elaborate with a script and stuff like that, but I just sadly don't have that much free time. Okay guys, so see you in the next video, and stay well, and bye bye, peace.